Hi friends, I'm Amy from amylattacreations.com, and this is my crafty friend Lisa from DIYProStudios.com, and we are so excited to be bringing you the Mid-Mud Mug class. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you're as excited as we are. And so we're gonna get started hand lettering off the page and creating the mugs that you're gonna love. So the benefit of watching a pre-recorded class like this one is that you can certainly craft along with us live as we go, but you can also pause if something's taking you some time. You can rewind, if we can say rewind. Go back. We can go back. I feel so old sometimes.
Watch again.
Exactly. You can replay any parts that you want to go back and see. You can stop and start. Anything that works for you and your schedule. So feel free to use this video in any way that you like to help you to create the mugs that you love. Lisa is going to tell you about the materials that are in front of you in the kit that you picked up from your local DIY pottery studio.
All right, so if you're watching this class, you probably purchased a ticket through a DIY art studio, also known as a paint your own pottery store. If you happen to be watching this class and you did not do that, it's absolutely fine to keep watching, but please note that this class cannot be done with materials that you find in any craft store at home. These are kiln-fired projects. They will be going through a kiln, and we're happy to have you revisit the class again after you purchase the ticket, but what you do need to do is find a local participating paint your own pottery store. We have so many tongue twisters in this class. So you need to find a local paint your own pottery store that's participating, and you can do that at DIYProStudios.com. And it's not too late. Go ahead and hit that link. The class is available for watching anytime between December 20th and January 31st. So if you still have time, you're going to put your zip code in, find a studio, contact them, and they'll tell you how to get these materials. So if you have already done that and you're a ticketed guest, then you have your materials at home, what you should have is a pair of mugs. You might have different mugs than we're holding. We're just randomly working with some mugs at home, but you definitely have a set of 2 mugs that are unpainted. You also have a foam brush, at least one, probably 2. Think of 2, 1 for each mug. And then we've got color. This is not paint. Remember, this is glaze that's been sent home with you, and it is very important that you do not improvise with craft materials you have at home. I am sitting in Amy's wonderful craft studio right now. I wish I could give you a tour. Needless to say, around me there are tons of markers and tons, so it's so tempting, and colors and acrylic paints,
and paint pens,
so many things. We might do other projects.
We might.
But for this project,
don't do it.
Don't do it. These, when you're done, your mug has to go through a kiln, and nothing else will fire except the glaze that is included in your box. So even though you might be tempted, do not put acrylic paint, marker, or anything else decoratively on your mug. It just won't work. Okay, so we've sent you everything that you need in the box. Stay in the box. You've also got your set of stencil stickers. These are designed by Amy. They're gorgeous. We're going to talk a little bit more about what they are. You've got some Q-tips, some toothpicks, I believe. You do have a pencil that we'll talk about why you can use. Scissors, I think that you were going to use scissors from your own house, but you need a pair of scissors. You could also have tape. If you do have some masking tape at home, washi tape, anything like that, you might choose to use some tape on your own, so that's an optional item. So, and a plate. Good job. That's going to be our palette today. If you don't have tape or any of those things ready, go ahead and push that pause button right now and get your materials together, and we'll get started. All right, guys, let's roll.
Now it's time to plan your design. So Lisa and I have created some sample designs for you to use as inspiration. Feel free to use these designs on your own mugs or to come up with something that's totally original. But we want to talk you through how these were created in case you'd like to imitate some of them on your own project.
Absolutely. And remember, depending on where you get your materials, you might have any one of these mug sets or even something different. We're not sure what you have. You definitely have 2 mugs. And so some of the mugs themselves, because we did have some that were square, actually lent themselves to the design because they had their own panels as part of the design. So we'll start over here. Yeah. So this is called a cone mug, and we have a set of 2 where we really wanted them to be, we liked the letters popping, so we decided for both of these to go ahead and do the white lettering. But what we did is to make it different is that one has the positive and one has the negative. And for this one, we just used the bursts We didn't use any of the other design elements. We did leave the handle area unpainted, and we're going to suggest that on all of your mugs because it's tricky to get up in here and paint with a brush. Sometimes people think, oh, it would look really cool to have a navy blue handle, and it would. We agree. But it's tricky to paint that because the area where the handle meets the body of the mug is very hard to precisely get around that. So what we did instead, especially with a mid-mod design where it's all about color blocking and some elements, is go ahead and make a block of white around that handle. So both of these, you'll notice, have different versions. On this one, we did a little bit of an angle. Let's see if you can see that. And on this one, we did more straight up and down. So you can get creative with how you block it out, but we recommend that you do block it out.
Exactly. And then this set also uses the Let It Snow, but you can see one uses the positive design where the other uses the negative design. So you get the same words, but different effect. And then if we turn to the sides, you can see we've done totally different things on this set of mugs. So they don't have to be completely matching. And you know, you're not always going to have them side by side anyway or be using them together. So each person who's creating can do whatever they like on their mug, or if you want a matching set, you can totally do that too.
Absolutely. And since your sticker that, again, created by the wonderful, talented Amy Latta, has all 4 designs, you could choose to use 2 different designs as we did here. This one has bursts and atomic snowflakes. So you can use 2 different ones if you want to. Totally up to you. Get creative with it.
All right, this set is fun because we did a yours and mine. This particular mug, it was sized in a way that it made sense for the words to go up and down, which I think created a fun effect. And then on the back, we used the diamonds, and you can see we did the regular sticker effect as well as the reverse effect where we used the sticker as a stencil.
These 2 are the first that we've shown that have the rim painted around the top too. And when we go to the section where we teach you how to put the color on, we will show you how to do the rim. And then what I did here on this one.
Right, because this handle is painted.
It is painted. So, because we knew some of you were going to be like, oh, I really, really, really want a navy blue handle. So what we're showing you here is the way that we can literally just paint the surface of the handle instead of trying to get around in that tricky area. So we are painting with a foam brush today. Do not have it near me right now, but the foam brush is flat, so you're able to literally just run it down the handle just to paint that surface area. So as you're planning your design and thinking about your design, you can certainly incorporate that. We're just recommending that you don't try to get up against where the barrel of the mug meets the handle of the mug.
Right, or that underneath part is tricky too. I've tried to do that before.
It's just no fun. It's just no fun, and we like to keep it fun.
Yes. And then we love this little set. These mugs actually sort of nest and fit together, which is fun.
Super cute.
Yes. So this one, we went with Mr. and Mrs. using the reverse images, and then the diamonds and dots.
Absolutely. Diamonds and dots on one side for these, which was great. You can see that we've used, I've picked that color on my finger. We've got tape strips right here that were used. The next step after you guys think about your design, we're going to show you how to move the stickers over the right way and actually to paint the mug. So your job right now is we're probably going to recommend that you pause the video for a little while because you need some time to think. You're going to think about how you're going to use the different elements on the mugs and basically have a plan. As soon as you get your plan together, you'll be ready to restart that video and learn how to put the stickers on and paint them. You're almost in the home stretch.
Exactly. And what I love about this is that there's no right or wrong. You can see every one of these mugs is unique. You just do what you love. You can put the designs anywhere, any way that you want them to be. This is your creative project. You can use our inspiration or you can go wild. Just have fun and create whatever you like. But we do stress that you want to have a plan. I used to teach English, and so for me, it's a rough draft. You want to have a rough draft of what you're doing. You can even sketch out on a piece of paper what you want the different sides of your mug to look like. You can use a pencil and sketch on the mug if you want, because that will fire off in the kiln and you won't see it.
You can. And actually, let's talk about that. Two more things as you're making that plan. You do have a pencil included. Pencils can be tricky because sometimes they have a waxy quality to them, which can do what we call repelling the glaze. So you don't want to push really hard and make really deep dark lines. Remember, these lines are disappearing anyways,
right? But
we don't want them to take any color with them when they do disappear. So when you're sketching, let's say that you're deciding to put a diagonal line here, and rather than playing with tape, you want to go ahead and sketch it out. Just be very light with your hand. I can see that with my eyes. I'm sure you can't see it there because it's not a dark line. Just be very light. Okay, you can see that a little bit. And then before you put the tape down, you can even just run your finger over it a little bit just to lighten up that pencil residue before you go farther. And then the other thing that Amy and I talked about is it was very hard to resist the temptation to paint the entire center navy blue, nautical blue, which we think is a lovely idea. But what you want to keep in mind as you're making your plan is how much color are you using. So in this set in particular, we have one that has a panel here that's solid, and a panel here that's solid. And other than that, there's not a lot of blue used. This one's just the design. So we predict that in this one, you have 2 full ounces of color here, which is a lot of glaze. You probably have enough to pop the color by doing the inside solid blue on this one. I don't know that I would do it here because we've got the solid on the sides there.
Right, so I would leave that one white inside.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's yours. It is yours to be creative, but we do want to make sure that you don't run out of color.
Right.
So what we're recommending is that when you plan your design, even if you think you want the inside to be solid, wait until you get the color on the outside completely the way that we are instructed to do so with those 3 coats.
On both mugs.
On both mugs. And then if you have left over, you can certainly try to get the inside. We just don't want you to run out of color because
that would be sad.
Yeah, that would be sad. Okay, so your job is to think it out.
Rough draft.
Rough draft. Maybe make a flow chart. Would you like that?
Yes, I would. It would make me happy.
All right, so push pause here. Have some fun. Get creative. We'll see you back in a minute.
Now that you've chosen your design, choose your first sticker. And for this one, I want the negative effect. So I'm going to use mine as a sticker rather than a stencil. So what I'm going to do is weed it. And that is just a fancy term for removing everything that's not part of my sticker. So I'm going to pull that off. And that includes getting rid of the centers of letters like E and O. Once you do this, you need to pull the transfer tape out of your materials kit, and we're going to move this sticker over easy peasy, keeping all the spacing the same. Your transfer tape just peels off of the background, and we're going to put it on top of your sticker. Now you're going to take something like you could take the backside of a kitchen knife. I have a burnishing tool, but you're just going to take something like that that's flat, and you're going to rub it over top to make sure that it adheres. Now, when you peel the transfer tape off, your sticker is going to come right along with it. Then you're going to bring it over to your mug and decide where you want to position it. Note that once you press this down, it's going to stay where you put it. It's not repositionable, so you want to make sure it's in the right spot before you let it touch. Once you have it where you want it to go, we're going to press it down, and you're going to press firmly with your fingers or again with your flat tool. And then we're going to peel the transfer tape up, and the sticker should be adhered to the bisque.
Voila, looks great.
On the next side of the mug, I want it to use the stencil effect for some of the atomic snowflakes. So to do this, we're again going to do our weeding process, but this time, rather than the sticker, what I want is the background. So I'm going to peel these, and if you have any trouble, you can use the pin that's provided in your kit or anything that's small and sharp to help you poke out the edges. And then, just like we did with our stickers, you're going to find where you'd like to put your design and place that sticker right on your mug. And this is going to give you your design. Because I want a color blocked section here, this is going to give me my blue snowflakes on a white background, and then I'm going to continue my blue color all the way over to here. I'm going to use the tape strips that are also part of your sticker stencil kit, and I'm going to line them up with my stencil, and this way everything that I paint up to this line will be blue and everything on this side of the line will be white. For the third side of my mug, I wanted some more color blocking. I decided to do a V effect. So I'm going to continue the white here, but I want this piece of my mug to be blue. So again, I'm using the tape, And if you happen to use up all of the tape that is in your kit, you can also use whatever you have on hand, like painter's tape, masking tape, or even washi tape will work. So we're going to tape that off, and then you can look through your other design elements to see what you have that you might want to put on here. Now keep in mind that if you're making a matching set, you're going to want to save the other piece of what you used for your other mug. But you can look at some of the other things that you haven't used yet. So for example, I'm going to take some of these stars and dots, and I'm just going to peel off these stickers and place them on the spot that I'm going to put for my blue. And these are going to show up white when I paint.
Oh, that's cute. That's going to look really, really cute. I love it.
I think it's time to apply some paint. But first, let's do a quick check of where that paint's going to go. So this section of my mug is going to be blue with white words. Then over here, I'm going to have a white section with my blue atomic snowflakes. Over here, I'm a little bit worried that when I'm doing the blue stenciling, I could get some into this white area. So I'm going to take some of my extra tape and I'm going to tape off right here next to that stencil before I paint, just to make sure that I protect the white area. So I'm using my own washi tape for this step because I ran out of the tape that comes in the kit. And I'm just going to make sure that I don't get any paint where I don't want it to go.
So if that makes you nervous, remember that when we're done making a sample here, guys, we're going to show you how to deal with any boo-boos that you might make, because boo-boos happen when you're making art, and that's okay.
They sure do. It's the joy of handmade.
It's the joy of handmade.
This section is going to stay white. This section is going to be blue with my white atomic snowflakes. And like Lisa said earlier, it's just tricky dealing with paint around the handles, so I am going to leave mine white. Now it's time to apply our glaze. And believe it or not, this is the easy part. You've already done the tricky part. So we're going to be giving 3 coats of glaze, and Lisa's going to explain why while I put the first coat on.
So Amy's applying the first coat in a stippling motion, which is basically bouncing up and down as you see her doing. And that's because that'll help us not peel any stickers up as you're going. So you're going to pounce right across that sticker as you see. Just cover everything up and don't worry. Again, if you do make mistakes, we're going to talk about how to correct them. Glazes are a little tricky in that, as you see, that color does not look the same, does it? I'll put these next to each other. So this is before firing and this is after firing. Glazes get darker and shiny when they fire in the kiln. So even though it might be tricking your head a little bit, you are working with that lovely nautical blue. So you're going to push that right across. The second thing is that we need to do layers. Just as Amy said, we're going to do about 3 layers of color. Right now, when you look at it, it looks as if this is solid. But when glazes fire, they actually show texture really well. So if you ever are doing a design with texture, you'll love it. But if you're trying to make something solid, you're going to want to do 3 layers, or you could get a streaky effect. And I'm going to kind of stick this in here while Amy's working and show you. Just right here, you can see how it's a little more solid. And then over here, it almost looks like a denim. Not a big deal. I kind of like that look, but that's where I actually goofed up a little bit and didn't have as much color right here in this section. So we're going to have you go over your design 3 times. She's just working around the mug, covering up all the areas that she wants to cover up. I'm going to let you talk about, now that she's getting close to these atomic snowflakes, I'm going to have her take over and tell you what she's going to do to be careful about painting those. Because remember, she wants a white panel with blue snowflakes. How are you going to make that happen there, Amy?
Very, very carefully. So remember, I used my washi tape to section off so that when I get a little bit of overhang from my brush, I'm not getting into that white area. See, this right here would have been on my pottery, and that would have made me very sad.
If you do have square mugs, you'll be able to even use the edge of the mug. You might need washi tape, you might not. Some of you might have square mugs, some of you might have more of a rounded mug. When you have a rounded mug, you can use tape as well to make a line. I'm showing you right here. Or because we're painting with a foam brush, what's nice about a foam brush is it's pretty easy. Let me squirt you some color while I show them this.
Thank you. I'm running low.
Welcome. I'm here to help.
Can you be here every time?
I can. I would love that. That would be fabulous. So let me show you on this mug right here. So this is a painted one, but when you are using a foam brush, the other nice thing is the foam brush itself is stiff and square. So if you want to make a nice straight line without tape, you're just going to put the brush down and pull like that, and you're able to create a nice straight line. Again, you're going to do layers to cover up and make it thicker, but you can get that straight line just from pulling like that. So you're going to stipple your first coat. As soon as it's dry to the touch, glazes are pretty cool. They dry very quickly. If you tap it and it does not stick to you, you are ready to do a second layer. And your second layer, you can actually paint across. So it looks like Amy's almost there.
Yep, I'm just about finished. So I'm going to go back to my first side, my Let It Snow. I can see I missed a spot, so I'm going to fill that in. And mine is already dry to the touch, so I'm ready for layer number 2. And Lisa, how are we going to do that?
You can either stipple it, but if you wanted to, I didn't really squirt you a bunch. Let me get you a bigger puddle. You can pull a bunch on the brush and actually just go ahead. Now, one thing that I'll notice, Amy, is you're doing what I call the verb painting, which is a really fluffy action. If instead you take a bunch on there like this, we're going to paint together. It's a partner project. It's pairs,
That's
BFFs.
right.
If you go from the bottom and literally go all the way up and all the way down, if you do see strokes, then what you see is one big stroke instead of a bunch of choppy marks, which tends to bother people. I just shook the camera. Sorry, everybody. Steady that back for you. So yeah, so your second and third layers, you can stipple. Again, you can pounce them across if you liked that. It's kind of fun. Or you can go ahead and do a smooth action top to bottom. Just go ahead and apply that color straight up and down.
I am going to stipple my stencil area because I find that for stencils, sometimes paint likes to bleed through underneath, and that goes for any kind of stenciling and any kind of paint. So I find that anytime I stencil, if you use that bouncing up and down motion, you get less of that.
I agree. Looking good. I love your design.
Thank you. I'm so excited about
It's
it.
gonna be
I
a
can't
lot of
wait to
fun.
use it. Peppermint mocha, peppermint
Oh,
hot
yeah.
chocolate, all the things.
Tis the season for a nice snowy mug. I love that we went with a winter design here, which is really appropriate. And honestly, the mid-mod makes it year-round friendly.
It really does.
But I definitely can see some whipped cream and some peppermint sprinkles on top. The red ones, that would be really cool.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. All right.
Yep.
So I'm not going to make you guys watch Amy do that one more time, but she might do a third coat.
I sure will.
Okay, she's going to do one. She's going to do one real fast. And then after that, we're going to talk about how to get the stickers off and clean up any mistakes you can make. So as you can see, this project is really awesome to do with the vinyl sticker stencil, because most of the work is really in just deciding what you want to do and applying those stickers or stencils properly. After that, it's pretty easy peasy for a really, really good finished look that you're going to love. A little bit more on those atomic snowflakes.
That's right, because
Pow, pow,
the
pow.
more layers of glaze that we apply, the darker this is going to be. And I really want that nice nautical blue. And we are just about finished.
All right. I'm going to show you one little trick too. A couple of them have a painted, let's see if I can get this in here, a painted rim at the top here, a couple of our samples. So I'm going to show you a little trick of how to do that. Any project that you do with a foam brush, even if you painted the rest of it with a sticker, you can do this way, which is what Amy's brain said to do. Peel this tape back a little bit. We're going to peel that tape back just so that she doesn't, Amy's got really pretty nails. I'll do that. I'll do that part. Here, actually, let's do this. Just showing this one. She'll show you on a clean one. But instead of going straight up and down like this, when you go straight up and down, you can tend to bend the foam around and get it on the side. What you can do instead is come down this way. So let me show you this way. So you're going to come down and basically just tap that color like this. And you, with a foam brush, with a gentle touch, you can just smooth that out. But that is how we did paint just the top rim, if you wanted to put a little bit of color there. Okay, so feel free to add some little accents if you want to. And now Amy is pulling off her long strips of tape, which is easy. There you go. So any washi tape or masking tape that you use, plus our tape strips. When you're ready to pick off the stickers and the stencils, we recommend that you don't use your fingernail. Use the pin that was included in your materials kit. And you're just going to see where the sticker or stencil edge is and just push in a little bit until that pops, and it will pop right off. You see how that easy that is? Even with a little tiny dot, you can just pop them off and wipe them off your finger if they get stuck. and you're going to pop off each sticker stencil, and it will pull right out. Voila. This was the word that was a little bit connected. Sometimes they'll break apart, and that doesn't matter. We just need to make sure that the area is clear of color, and sometimes they'll pull off together. When you do get all of your stickers and stencils pulled, we are going to go over how to correct errors in a little bit, but in a nutshell, you're going to take your toothpick or even the pin, and you can literally just open up any areas that basically filled themselves in with paint. Okay, so no big deal. You guys are just going to pop off your stickers. Have fun.
I'm so excited to fire this. I finished the top and I love the way that my design came out, but I did make a little bit of a boo-boo here. So Lisa's going to tell me what I need to do to fix it.
Okay, so one of the luxuries of doing this class at home is that you have plenty of time to let the project dry. With glazes, it's a lot easier to work with boo-boos if they are really dry. This one we actually let dry overnight. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to use the toothpick to scrape away. Let's just say we're talking about this little edge where it's not squared off. So you can literally just kind of scrape away. Makes a little bit of that nails on chalkboard sound. That's okay. We power through that. And once you've got the thickness off, see that scraped right off? There you go. So after that, let me see if I can zoom in. Here, come this way a little bit just so they can see. There you go. So she scraped it down right here. And now that you see that little shadow, what we're going to do is take a Q-tip, get it a little bit damp, and then give it a little squeeze. And then you're just going to wipe that area and then hold that back up here a little bit. There you go. And it basically makes it go away. Okay. So the step number one, this is our sample messy mug, but let's go back to yours. Yours is probably dry enough to do this too. So you don't have a thick area, so you don't really need to scrape. Let me make sure that they can see your boo-boo. Can you even see her boo-boo? She's being very picky. There's a little spot right here that is a little bit dark. And she's just going to wipe it with a Q-tip, and that's going to come right off. The other thing that works, if you have some, is a little bit of a light grain grit sandpaper. And so you can take sandpaper and basically just scratch that down as well if it's on white. Okay, so errors are pretty easy to clean up. So the next step for you guys at home is to go through with a toothpick and a damp Q-tip and kind of wipe off or sand off anything that's bothering you. And then you're going to be ready to package this back up and send it home to your Paint Your Own Pottery studio, the DIY Pro Studio that you worked with, and they're going to get this fired in the kiln for you. So in order to do that, the last thing I want you to do is I want you guys to flip them over to the bottom, and we are going to have you write your name on there, and the studio is going to go over this with glaze. So right now, if I put that in the kiln, she wrote Amy Latta, that would burn off if I just put it in there. So the studio is going to trace over that for you with a special tool. And this actually says where it was manufactured on the bottom. You do not need to worry about that. That does fire off. So when you pick it back up, it will say your name the way you wrote it and not the manufacturer thing. So that's the last trick. We want to make sure that when you take these back to that DIY Pro Studio that they know how to track your mug and get that back to you. So you're going to write your name on the bottom, package everything back in the box that you got it in, take it back to your DIY Pro Studio, and they will get that fired in a kiln for you and let you know how to pick it up, and you are done. Remember that your colors, this is one of the things that's going to be so cool. Those colors really do change. Here's a Let It Snow. So when she picks this up, they are going to look, this one is actually, yeah, there you go. That's almost matchy-matchy. So it looks like a lighter blue right now when it fires. It's this wonderful mid-mod, deep nautical blue. You're going to love it. So we're so excited that you guys did the class with us today. And thank you, super special thank yous to Amy and her designs. These are all hand-lettered by Amy Latta, who does a wonderful job with hand lettering. If you haven't done her books yet, check them out. Her latest one is hand lettering off the page. And it's a wonderful, wonderful tool for doing projects like this. And we hope that you guys make use of the rest of these stickers. You can ask your Pro Studio if you can buy some other pottery from them and do more sticker projects with the things that are left over. So have fun with that.
Friends, thank you so much for joining us in this class today. I don't know about you, but I had a great time. I haven't painted on ceramics in quite a while, so this was a refresher for me, and it was a ton of fun. I'm so excited about how my mug turned out, and I hope that you are too. We would also love to see pictures. If you get these glazed and fired from your DIY pottery studio, post them online, take snapshots of them, fill them with your favorite beverage, and send us your selfies. Please tag me. I am at Amy Latta Creations everywhere on social media. And you can also, of course, tag your local pottery studio so that they can see how it turned out as well.
Can't wait to see them. They're going to look so great.
I know. And I love that each one, just like snowflakes, each one is individual and different.
Mm-hmm.
So we're so glad that you've joined us. We're hoping to do lots more of these classes in the future with some more other fun ceramic projects that you can do from the comfort of home and with the help of your DIY pottery studio.
Absolutely.
I'd also love for you to check out my most recent book, Hand Lettering Off the Page. This is one of many ways that you can take hand-lettered designs and use them on things that are not paper. This book has 25 other projects, different kinds of surfaces like wood and plastic and all kinds of things, leather, ways that you can letter on your shoes and on your hats and everything in your life, which is extra fun. So be sure to check out Hand Lettering Off the Page, as well as my other hand lettering books. And you can find all kinds of project ideas from me at amylattacreations.com. And of course, make sure to check your local DIY pottery studio for their upcoming classes and events.
Yep, on DIYProStudios.com, you can see a list of upcoming events. We will keep adding to that. So please remember to keep checking back. And as you're learning about hand lettering and all kinds of decorating with Amy Latta, remember how you can translate to pottery projects. There's lots of ways. And in a lot of our classes, as was true for today, there were stencils, stickers that you ended up not using because you had choices. You can keep those and go back to that DIY Pro Studio, get another project from them, and use those stickers on something else. You can make a bowl or anything that you can
plate,
think of.
anything. Switch plate covers. There's all kinds of things. Frames.
Yeah, so check them out. So we're going to be doing more projects in the future. Look for projects with Amy and even some other projects there at DIYProStudios.com. And we are so happy that you joined us today. Can't wait to see how everything comes out. Remember to tag us so we can check it out and have a great mug of coffee, right? Cheers.
Cheers.